beauty beyond compare, teeming with diversity. A land filled with mystery, hidden away from the world in the glittering Caribbean Sea. A place where you can unwind and enjoy each moment, a land yearning to be explored. Cozumel, a dazzling gem set in the aquamarine waters of the Caribbean Ocean, the island paradise setting for a challenge beyond compare, and an Ironman triathlon. Welcome to the tropical paradise of Cozumel for the coverage of the 2015 Ironman Cozumel. This beautiful, serene setting will be overwhelmed by age group and pro athletes, finishing their first challenge, a 2.4-mile swim, and making their way to the 112-mile bike ride on a flat, notoriously windy course. Before race day, athletes from all walks of life prepare for their race at transition, like this one, as well as mentally. With the physical training behind them, they must trust that they are prepared to face the day ahead. Camilla Pedersen is one such athlete who has made her journey to this beautiful island not only for the tranquility but to test herself.
I've never done an Ironman here. I've heard that it should be a little bit challenging because of the heat sometimes. And it's kind of a little bit like home in Denmark. I live on the west coast and it's always windy, and they say it's always windy here. So yeah, I haven't done it, and it's a new race, a new thing, a new adventure.
That adventure begins with a 2.4-mile swim, ending up at the Knob.
I would really like my race to be a good, solid race tomorrow. Not just because, well, you always want that as your race, but it's my last race with UPlace BMC team, and the sponsors have been amazing over the last couple of years. So it would be really nice to put together a really strong race for them, and just a nice way to, of course, say thank you. But yeah, you always want to have a good race, but it would be extra nice to be able to put that together and yeah, show my appreciation for everything that they've done for me over the last couple of years.
Corinne Abraham, along with many of the pro athletes, have come to Cozumel to end their seasons.
I don't enter a race unless I feel like I have a shot in winning. I never go into a race saying only winning will do, because to me anything but winning then is failure. So I go in racing for the podium. The point of the race is to collect points for 2016, but also, as I said, I have a scratched itch. I feel like I've still got a fast marathon in me this year. I want to have a successful race from start to finish, and not be one of the kind of heroes at the start of the day and then walking at the end of the day.
Tyler Butterfield preps his bike and himself for a day out in the Caribbean.
I'm excited. It'll be a dynamic race. There's a lot of good guys here. I think the most competitive Cozumel race that we've seen. And there's a lot of guys that did well in Kona, some that didn't do as well, but they're fit because they were there. They probably just missed time, their taper, and they'll be here ready to race.
One such athlete is Michael Weiss of Austria, finished 16th overall in Hawaii at the Ironman World Championships, and is the two-time returning Cozumel Ironman champion. He's in the hunt for the hat trick. In the women's division is Leonda Cave, the first woman in the history of the sport to win both titles in the same year.
I've been doing triathlon professionally for I think 13 or 14 years, and I think I've had longevity because I've enabled myself to find a balance in life. I've not just been tunnel vision triathlon, I also have a lot of
friends who don't do triathlon, I have a social life, and I do eat bad things during my off season. You want to make it a career, you want to make it your job, you have to treat it like that, and you have to have a balance in life. I feel for me, when I've watched girls come through the ranks and then they'll all of a sudden just stop like that because they've had enough. I mean, you can't, if you want to be in this sport for the long run, have big goals, try to work up to them. They don't happen overnight. They happen over several years. For me, it took me a long time before I won Kona, and I think that for me has actually helped me. It's helped me build the foundation for getting to that point where I am in the best shape of my life to win. And you have to take your time, otherwise you suffer mental burnout, you suffer physical burnout, and then you get all the injuries along with it.
Let's take a look at the course the athletes will be taking on. 140.6 miles in total. Starting with a 2.4 mile swim, starting in the water, a 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run. As the sun sets on another day in paradise, the athletes prepare themselves for the Ironman race. Not just any endurance event, no. One of such magnitude that the body, mind, and soul are put through their rigors. We'll be right back for more of the 2015 Ironman. The 2015 Ironman Cozumel is brought to you by Mexico. Live it to believe it. And by Cozumel, heaven on earth. Welcome to the pre-dawn hours in the heart of the Caribbean Sea. Athletes from all walks of life, pro and age group alike, make final preparations for their bikes and position themselves for a good, long, hard-fought day ahead. Michael Weiss, the #1 seeded athlete, is looking to defend his title. As the first Danish female triathlete to clock in under the magical 9-hour mark in an Ironman event, Pedersen has her adventure mapped out right.
Like for me, Ironman is an adventure. It's not all about going out and swim, bike, and run. It's also mentally. It's like have the 80% of it. Like how warm is it? How much water do you need? How much energy do you need? If it's too warm, not too much sugar in the energy, because then your body won't digest it. And also how much salt do you need. So that's also one of the challenging I like. It's not only about being on the bike and pushing hard. If you push it too hard for an hour, you know you're gonna pay the price 5 hours later. So it's kind of a mix. You have to find the balance, where you are and how much can you push it and where's the limit. So that's what I like about Ironman. It's an adventure.
This is a perfect race for me. It's similar weather to where I live and train, which is Miami. It's also a very flat course, which is very similar to Miami. The roads are better, which is good. Hopefully no bumps that I'll miss. But you know, it's for me a good test really to bang out a solid Ironman. And there's some good girls here too, which I like. I like having a good bit of competition to race. So that's really, for me, just hanging on and seeing, not going all out. I feel for me, I need to be very conservative in this race. Like I said, I'm a little, I'd say I'm lacking a little bit in fitness, so I need to make sure I can hold on for a strong marathon.
As the sun slowly rises, Tyler Butterfield and the rest of the pro and age group athletes prep for their swim. The male pros will set off first with an in-water start. It's a 2.4 mile swim, this time with the current.
It's a great race, Cozumel. It's a great sport. The Ironman series has done really well. I think this one's special though. I really like this. I suggest to anyone who wants to do one for the first time to do Cozumel. It's a flat, it's hot, but that's fun. It's three loops on the bike that are flat, 3 loops on the run, pretty flat, and yeah, it's a fun day. So I hope I can have a fun day out there.
Training for such an event as an open water swim can prove to be difficult. After all, swimming in a pool cannot provide the feeling of swimming within a natural water source. A current-assisted swim can prove to be a disadvantage, as the faster motion of the water may make eager swimmers begin to tire faster. After the males set off on their day, the female triathletes begin their journey. Corinne Abraham is used to open water swims and is aware of the expected challenges of the day ahead.
It's a sea swim, so it's got a slight current to it, so it's a swim that sort of works in my favour really, as swimming is not my strongest discipline, so that's good for me. I can always start off with a really sort of positive note for that. Then it's onto the bike, and we know it's going to be windy, we know it's going to be hot, so it's just make sure that you stay hydrated, stay steady on the power, and just ride a consistent bike.
And as the female athletes head off on their day, the age groupers descend into the pier. People from all walks of life, proving to themselves that no challenge is insurmountable, that they too can become an Ironman.
Avancen poco a poco, por favor, y estén.
With the pro swim well on its way, a lead group has emerged, with Berit Brandon of the USA leading the charge, followed closely by Patrick Nilsson of Sweden and Nicolas Hemmet of France, close behind. With Berit Brandon finishing the swim in a time of 43:18. We'll be right back with more from Ironman. Welcome back to the coverage of the 2015 Ironman Cozumel. With an impressive time of 47 minutes, 18 seconds, Celine Scherer of Switzerland is the first woman out of the water. Leanda Cave is the second woman out of the water.
You know, I'm about the same at everything. I'm generally never the best, but I'm never the worst at all three. And if I'd say one, like right now, I'm feeling pretty good in everything, but not amazing. Yeah, I've not had a really great workout in the last 6 weeks since Kona where I'm going, oh wow, I'm on point, you know. I'm probably going to be hurting a lot on race day.
Tyler Butterfield is eager to make the transition onto the bike, with only a 40-second deficit to the swim leader. The second woman out of the water is Leanda Cave, as is Camilla Pedersen. Pedersen is well aware of how important being mentally prepared is to face an Ironman day.
Like, I've always been pretty stubborn. That's also why I'm not in the best shape. 5 years ago I did my first triathlon ever. So I'm pretty new in the sport, and so I still have a lot to learn. But it's the mental part gives you a lot more than the physical part do when you come to an Ironman.
As battling water becomes less of a focus and tackling the flat island by bike becomes the next challenge, Barrett Brandon has put some distance on his competitors.
You know, I was looking for a late season Ironman, and it was kind of between this one and Ironman Arizona, and I've raced a bunch in Mexico before, mostly shorter races, but I enjoy the culture and the atmosphere, and thought it'd be a course that would suit me, being hot and humid, so that's why I'm here.
Patrick Nilsson is currently riding in second place, with Tyler Butterfield catching up to him slowly.
If it's windy out there tomorrow, I probably didn't bring the right wheel setup. I got a little deep dish wheels, or big deep dish wheels, I should say. I should have gone a bit shallower. The technical side of it is getting there in these races now. And it's just what I bought. I used the same ones I used in Kona. I decided to bring and use here. Kona was a hot race, the wind can pick up. So I used a similar setup here, but the last two times I've done Cozumel, the wind hasn't been quite as bad. The first time I did it was definitely the worst, and it was pretty windy on the far corner. So I know I'll probably have to get out of the aero bars with my wheel setup if it's really windy, but you just sort of hang on and get stuck into it.
There are so many obstacles to overcome during an Ironman race: body, mind, machine, as well as the elements. And Cozumel is hot, humid, and windy.
Well, it's the same for everyone, right? We all have to race in it, we all have to suffer through it, and we all have to get through it. So I feel like the things that are out of our control, everyone has to deal with. You know, it's all the same. So I think for some people, they let that bother them, but for me, it's just, you know, it is what it is, and we all are dealing with the same thing. And if I'm hurting, everyone else is hurting with the same conditions. So it's just a matter of getting through it and not letting it mess with your head too much.
As the aquamarine waters return to their regular occupants, the roads become filled with the sounds of bike chains and pedaling, and the quest for hydration begins. One of the many pieces of the whole Ironman experience has gone awry for Bermuda's Tyler Butterfield. Although he has lost time, he is on his way again. We'll be right back with more from Ironman. Welcome back to the tropical paradise of Cozumel for the coverage of the 2015 Ironman Cozumel. Barrett Brandon of the USA still leads the race, but is beginning to cramp. This gives Patrick Nilsson the opportunity he needs to take the lead in the race. Trevor Wurtele is currently third place with a large pack of male pros behind him. Last in the pack is Stefan Schmidt of Germany. A crucial factor in keeping strong is listening to the body, taking in water and nourishment when needed. Emma Kate Lidbury leads the pro females. Leanda Cave has Lindbury hot in her sights. Heather Wurtele is currently in third place in the women's race. The three top females remain close together. Leanda Cave knows not to pay too much attention to her fellow competitors.
I think, for the most part, so many people, they train together, they train with other people. You're always around someone, but when you're in the race, you're alone. And you have to battle with all the little demons in your head. And there's no one there telling you something positive, so you have to react and you have to answer those little demons and tell them to shut off and then find a positive spin on something. So I think that is probably the hardest thing. Like, I do a lot of training on my own, so for me, I'm enabling myself to know what it's like in a race. But there's definitely people who do 100% of their training on their own or with their husband, boyfriend, whatever, and or vice versa, and they just don't understand what it takes to be in your own head for For me, it would be 9 hours. For a lot of age groupers, it's 10, 12, sometimes 15, 16, you know, so it's a long time to be in your own head and to keep fighting the demons that say stop. And we all get them, like I get them. My best year when I won Kona, I had them. There's little things in my head that said stop, 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 and you just have to overcome that. And I feel that's probably the hardest part of Ironman is just like keeping going, like keep the momentum going.
Last year I did my first Ironman at the end of the year, so relatively new to the distance. But I really enjoy it's a lot less frenetic, it's a lot simpler. It's you versus the elements and the distance, and I kind of enjoy that struggle. So, but I'm still pretty new. This will be the third one that I've kind of completed. So I had decent success the first two and ready to tackle it again.
The men start thinking of the transition from bike to the marathon ahead. Patrick Nillison is still in the hunt of Brandon and still sits in second place. We'll be right back with more from Ironman. Welcome back to the Ironman Cozumel. With the bike course saturated and all the athletes coping with the sunny, humid climate, the pros make their way on the marathon portion of the day. Patrick Nilsson is the first pro male to make the transition. Barrett Brandon makes his way into the second transition. The female leader, Kate Lidbury, is looking strong, as does second place Leanda Cave. With third place female triathlete Heather Wurtula not far behind.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna hurt for 9 hours, but it's nice. You kind of get adrenaline out of it, and this is what I love. So you have to have fun, even though it hurts like hell. You have to enjoy it because you picked it your own. Like, this is what I wanted to do. Nobody told me you have to do this. So of course, it's all about having fun, enjoying it, and you enjoy life.
Camilla Pedersen is making the most of her day, having slipped a few positions behind. She is making up time and eyeing her closest rival. The top two males, Stefan Schmidt of Germany and Patrick Nilsson, run side by side, keeping pace. Matthew Russell of the USA is the third place male, and Russell, a Cozumel veteran, knows what it takes to finish strong in an Ironman Cozumel race. Defending champion Michael Weiss is looking strong and confident on his run. Side by side, Schmidt and Nilsson push each other, running rhythmically. the female pro athletes come to the end of their 112-mile bike ride, with Emma Kate Lidbury leading the field. Leanda Cave is close behind in second place. Heather Wertela finishes her bike portion in 5 hours, 4 minutes, and 8 seconds. Leanda Cave is the second female to tackle the marathon, with Heather Wertela close behind in third. Corinne Abraham is in a very strong fourth place and gaining on her competitors, with Camilla Pedersen in fifth and able to see her competition.
You should also be careful on the race that you don't focus on the others. Don't follow them, stick to your own plan. Because you can pay the price later in the race. So you have to keep cool all the way and don't look around where the other are. It's your own race, especially when you come here to Cozumel because of the heat. It also takes a lot of energy out of you, and so my plan is pretty much to stick to my own plan, and then we'll see what's gonna happen.
I know from being here last year that everybody that comes to the island is for the race is very supportive, and also like all the kids that are volunteering and the people who are making the race happen, there's always a huge amount of support from them. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them out in the aid stations and out on the course at every kilometre, so that'll be good.
As Corinne Abraham and Camilla Pedersen run side by side, it's a familiar story with the men's race. Patrick Nilsson and Stefan Schmid run side by side, slowly making their way to the last lap of 3 of the marathon. We'll be right back with more from Ironman. Welcome back to the tropical paradise of Cozumel. Ironman Cozumel hosts people from across the globe, those who are weary and looking to take a break, athletes vying for precious Kona points, and some who just want to have the title of Ironman as a bragging right. Corinne Abraham has fought her way into the lead.
Again, it's going to stay hot, it's going to stay windy, and the run course goes headwind, tailwind, headwind, tailwind, headwind, tailwind. Yeah. So I really think that it's, if you can stay strong for the headwind sections and then run with the tailwind, and work with, again, make sure you're taking on your nutrition, your hydration, and just don't make any mistakes, because it's tough conditions, and it will find you out if you don't stay on top of those things.
Leanda Cave is a very strong second. With a fast pace and keen stride, she seems to have conserved energy for the marathon, despite being near the front the whole day. Not far behind the leaders is Camilla Pedersen, who, just like her top rivals, has been in contention all day.
You just have to keep pushing, because you go through a lot of tunnels, but you know there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel, but some of the tunnels are longer than others. So you just have to keep staying focused and positive, and nothing ends before you see the light. There is always light.
The race course becomes busier as the age group athletes join the pros on the last portion of the Ironman journey, all working towards the honor of being crowned an Ironman. They battle the elements, themselves and each other, to cross the finish line. Each story unique, but the goal is global: to cross the finish line. Stefan Schmid is now leading the race and is strong in his stride. Not far behind him is Matthew Russell, with an incredible pace at the end of such a long day. We'll be right back with more from Ironman. The 2015 Ironman Cozumel is brought to you by Mexico. Live it to believe it. And by Cozumel, heaven on earth. Welcome back to the island paradise of Cozumel and the final stages of the 2015 Ironman Cozumel. Where age grouper and pro alike set their sights on the finish line. Here. Stefan Schmid leads the charge at the front of the race. Makes his way to victory. Stefan Schmid, you are an Ironman. Not just an Ironman, but an Ironman champion. Matthew Russell is the second man home.
It was an amazing day. I dreamed about winning an Ironman for so many years, and now a dream came true. It's unbelievable. It was such a tough day, and there were moments on the run where I thought that I might not even finish, you know? And then the last 5 kilometers, it was almost like no pain. It is unbelievable. It was really tough. The heat was not a problem on the bike, but the wind actually was, especially in the second and third lap. But on the run, it was brutally hard. It was unbelievable. When we went on to the marathon, we were together. I was together with Patrick, and I know that Patrick is a very, very good runner. And at the end of the second lap, he had a lead of about, I think, 1:30. And I really thought that was his move for the victory. And I thought that my job is to secure the second place. But for one reason, from one moment to the other, he was walking and I was in the lead. Crazy race.
Corinne Abraham leads the women and is close to a victory. Leanda Cave is not far behind. Corinne Abraham takes the title of 2015 Ironman Cozumel Female Champion in a time of 9 hours, 6 minutes, 40 seconds. Leanda Cave finishes second in a time of 9 hours, 13 minutes, 29 seconds.
Really tough day out there. My watch wasn't working for the run, so I just had to run on field. It's not a bad thing, but the first maybe 3 to 5K, I was just hanging on the run. And I just thought, just keep going. And when I raced in Texas a couple of weeks ago, it started to the run started to come through when I was at 5K, so I was just hanging there. And Camilla came past and she went way in front. I was just hang in there. So, and then it came good. So, yeah, super happy.
What does it take to be an Ironman? Dedication, passion, faith, and hope. As day turns to night, and all who persevered make it across the line, a changed person, an Ironman.